Joseph Gary Fenderbosch.
Have you always lived in Gallipolis?
I have not. I was born in Medina, Ohio, 1948, and my dad moved down here, or we moved here when the Kiger Creek Power Plant opened.
And you've been here ever since?
Yes.
And you have you attended the local high school, you attended, let's say, college locally. You have certain memories of the Silver Bridge collapse of 1967. Would you share those with us? Where were you when the bridge collapsed?
Well, I was sitting in our kitchen at home and listening to the radio, and it came across that the Silver Bridge has fallen, the Silver Bridge has fallen. So we got in the family vehicle and drove up the river and pulled over to the side of the road and tried to see if we could assist, and went down to the riverbank. And finally, when enough of the medical people and police had arrived, they tried to get everybody, away from that weren't emergency medical people. So we were walking along the river, looking for survivors or anything else that we could do to help. And so we were there for approximately 45 minutes or an hour before we were asked to leave. And then we went back home, and it was a very, very eerie, dark, scary situation. And it was kind of scary for me because the day before, I was caught in the middle of rush hour traffic coming back from Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, and I remember our 1958 Pontiac station wagon, and so if you'd ever known being on that bridge at rush hour, and there was a traffic light on the Ohio side, and so we were up at the top, and every time the trucks went over, the whole bridge would just shake. Scary. And we were going, please, let's get off. I think anybody who ever went over that bridge said, let's get off of this as quickly as we can. I hope that light changes. So I remember that, and then just the next day, to hear that on the radio was very eerie. And so we automatically just, kind of got in and went up to see if we could help or assist. And again, like I said, we were there for a short time, and then we were asked to, clear the area and make room for emergency personnel. So we went back and listened on the radio and TV and such for all the reports. But that was all we were able to do at that time.
What do you remember seeing when you first got there? How was the construction of the bridge?
Oh, the bridge was gone, except for I couldn't see across the other side, but I just saw the Ohio side, and that was I think part of the first piling, and then you could see the part submerged of what was left of the bridge in the river itself, and just I don't know, very eerie with that. Again, having been over there just the day before, and then of course along the river it has that terrible fish smell and everything. But there were people everywhere, and a bit of panic and everything going on. But at that time I was 16, I think 16 or 17 years old, and so it was something that that type of catastrophe would happen right in our own local community. I think people really thought that over a period of time that we were surprised that the bridge really never had fallen prior to that. If you've been over it a lot, and it was scary sometimes, again, especially when there was a lot of traffic and you're right in the middle of it. So that's how I recall as a youngster. So
people have talked about a joint, I think, where the bridge joined the West Virginia side that had gotten larger, like there was a real big bump there. Do you remember that growing?
I don't. I really don't, because we didn't spend a lot of time in Point Pleasant. The the day that I was there, I had gone to the lumber company for my dad to pick up some 2x4s or whatever, and so we had a load of lumber in the station wagon, and then we were, again, I had a friend with me, and we were coming back, and that's when we got this feeling we got to get the heck off this bridge, and crazy that it it fell the next day. So
Now, life afterwards, did you have to go across the bridge, use the ferry, go to Pomeroy? What was your life like afterwards?
oh, it really didn't didn't affect me much at all, because after that I was in school, and I did the ferry I think one time, and that was it. So it didn't impact us. It didn't impact the family or Dad, because he worked at Kiger Creek, so there was no issue there. And we did go up a few times to look at the progress, and the search parties in the daytime and stuff. You kind of drive by and kind of look at a distance to see the progress and seeing if they had recovered. And typically you sit in front of the TV every night and look for the report about how many people had been recovered or how many people lost, and the tragedy of all those families. So
what was the long-term effect? I mean, on the community, on the family, yourself? I mean, did you know people who lost relatives?
No, I mean, I think Dad knew some of the people that I did not know, and he did mention their names and everything. And again, I don't recall those right now, but I know that he knew some of the people through his working at the plant and everything. So I think he and Mom were probably more impacted than the three of us as kids were, my brother and sister, and. So we just followed the newspaper and the news, and again, we're praying for those families, and that they would find their loved ones and everything. So I think we don't think of it because it's so far in the past right now, but at the time it was the news of the day and very relevant for everybody, and safety, and the fact about deteriorating bridges. I mean, it's still happening today. It's nothing new. I mean, we've seen other bridge disasters here since the Silver Bridge, and in California and Seattle areas, and every place else.
Minnesota,
so
yeah.
In Minnesota, and so those kind of tragedies you hope would and have, I think, heightened everybody's awareness of how important that system is and needs to be kept up and everything.